TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
We want dynamism. So we want to do things. So we want variety and dynamism. So we need, as leaders, need to understand what sets people's heart on fire and provide that and just get them involved in different projects and get them exposed.
Hi, and welcome to Deep Leadership. I'm your host, John Rennie. Well, I hope all is well with you today. It is another beautiful day here in North Carolina, and this episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Ignite Management Services and Liberty Strength. These sponsors help me bring these shows to you each and every week, so I encourage you to click on their links below and check them out. Also, I want to encourage you to join us on our growing YouTube channel. Search for Deep Leadership on YouTube for videos of all my interviews and exclusive content. Well, that is it. Today, we're going to be talking about leading with care, and my guest is Marian Temelkov. Marian is CEO of Dynamis Group and a leader who truly cares for his team. He is also helping other leaders learn how to care as well. I truly enjoyed talking to Marian and learning how leaders with care help both people and company performance. So this is a great episode, and if you're looking for that secret to effective leadership, you're going to enjoy this conversation. So are you ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Welcome to Deep Leadership. Leadership is a people business. That's the philosophy of your podcast host, John Rennie. As a former Cold War submarine officer who spent 20 plus years leading businesses in corporate America before starting his own manufacturing business, he knows that leadership matters. Are you ready for some real-world actionable advice from John as well as his expert guests?
I'm ready.
The show starts right now.
Welcome to the Deep Leadership Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Marian Temelkov. Marian is the co-founder and CEO of Dynamis Group, a global talent consultancy specializing in succession, executive search, and leadership audits. The success of his company is driven by his philosophy of seeing people not for who they are, but for who they can become. Marian is an advocate and champion of leading with care and the care culture. He co-founded the Leaders Who Care platform to increase awareness and to help transform C-suite executives. He also co-founded the Leader Academy, and for over 20 years, he has invested in creating academies, spaces, and communities for future leaders to help them discover a purpose-driven career or establish mission-driven companies. I'm excited to have him on the show to learn more about how we can become leaders who care. So, Marian, welcome to the show.
John, thank you for having me today and deeply inspired by the work you do. It's an absolute honor to be here today.
Oh, and the honor is mine. I'm really excited to talk about this idea of leaders who care because I think it's a message that's consistent with this podcast. So I think what you're doing, the work that you're doing, I think is going to, certainly helping the world. And I think you sharing on the podcast is going to help our listeners. Absolutely. So let's dive in real quick. First of all, tell us about your company, Dynamis Group. What do you do there, and what makes your company so unique?
Well, thank you for the question. It's very much it's connected to leaders who care. And after completing projects in more than 15 countries and working with some of the most impactful leaders of the world, and we've seen some both very successful and not so successful, and some really unsuccessful as well, if we can share. That's been really, for us, important to, when Dynamis was established, what do we stand for? And helping companies, organizations with their talent strategy was not enough for us. We wanted to really see a real impact. And when we look at over those years of experience, we observe certain traits of what makes a great leader or good to great. And we found one common trait into all of them, which is they actually they care about making an impact. They do have a vision. They go beyond their self-interest. In other words, it's not just about a career. leadership is not a career. It is about a purpose, a vision that often is a blessing to humanity. And if it's not, then it's probably something went wrong along the way. So really, that's why, in fact, leaders who care should not exist. I say that because every leader should care, but we all know that's not always the case. They do care, but about what exactly is the important. And I think for us, what was the trigger is we wanted to see, when you talk about fulfillment, when you talk about what sets our heart on fire, we wanted to see the people and the leaders we work or place or help them to attract that top talent is able to make a profound difference and thrive at work. Why it was so important to thrive? Well, we've been in situations where we all haven't thrived. And this is deeply connected to the leader, boss that you report onto. So we know, and statistics shows that your relationship with your leader or your boss is on the same level, equally important as your personal marriage or husband and wife. So we have a mission to help more people thrive at work, and through placing the leaders and helping the leaders of the world to become better and taking care of them, they can take care of the rest and their teams. And if they accelerate the treatment of rare diseases or accelerate the carbon footprint reduction and provide a condition where people can thrive, we've done our role well.
It's interesting. One of the things I mentioned in the introduction, and it sort of seems like it's driving your philosophy in your company, is you say this idea of you see people not for who they are, but for who they can become. I love this, and it's really important. But tell us about that focus and how that drives what you do.
I'll tell you a story, and then that will probably explain a little bit. There was this exceptional leader that I was really looking to engage with, and he was very, very successful, running an operation of over 1,000 people with his own security, own army, own everything. He was like in the business of one of the most successful companies that was in oil and gas. And for me, it was really important to get to know him, because some people may find a little bit of confidence or arrogance. I didn't find it arrogance. It was just the confidence, the way he came across. And he was exceptionally gifted in mathematicians, solving problems by manipulating the variable, and really being a great impact. So it took me 9 months over many conversations to get to know him, what he's looking for, what does he stand for. And eventually, what made a difference for him is that when I listened to him carefully, I started to see things that what I would do if I was in his shoes. And at the moment he started saying, "How did you know that?" And I said, "I didn't." He said, "But that's something I've been thinking of for a long time, and that's something I wanted to do. But no one has ever said this to me." And he thought like, I was doing some checking up on him or something, but actually it was more what was my vision for if I was in his shoes, what I would do to expand to and naturally, that's maybe a gift and a disadvantage that I can see things. I can do really look beyond the next 6 to 12 months, and in terms of I love to visualize of what the next 5 to 10 years could bring. And that made a profound difference. It was a final negotiation, and I was on one side. The other one was a chairman of a $40 billion company, and he said, "Just tell us what you want to stay, and we'll make sure we're granted." And he didn't. So it's not the money that it was more the vision and being able to. So what happened though with that placement? Well, that particular a leader brought and he was evacuating people in the first day of work because of the civil unrest in multiple countries. He was responsible for 130 million region. So as a CEO, what did he do? He grew a business from 300 million to 5 billion in 5 years by solving problems to people. to countries, to communities. And that is the power, exceptionally gifted talent who cares beyond themselves. So it's not enough just to care. I think everybody should care. Everybody cares for something. The question is, what do you care for? And how do you deploy your gift to be a blessing to humanity? And that philosophy, or that that natural, if you like, that comes from me, inside of me, that drives me, that excites me, has helped me to tap into some of the most gifted and talented individuals of the world. So, and that doesn't just apply to the most gifted. That applies across your day to day. And sometimes people don't see that far. People don't believe in themselves. People don't think they can do it. But when somebody tells that to them, that makes a difference. So I always say, just is important to spend that time with people, to get to know them first before. So I have this principle of, I spend on a daily basis, like maybe for half an hour. Some people say, how do you do business development as a business or sales? Well, I technically don't sell. I put myself in shoes of the person I'm thinking, or the leader or the individual, and I stay there for half an hour, sometimes hours and days, and I say, what would I do? What if I was in his or her shoes? What problem I might have that I might need help with? That's what I do. And when I go back to them, I go back with a solution. And that's what got me a dinner with the chairman of a $25 billion company who was private dining and invited me to fly that I've never met, from zero to a private dinner where he hosted me. So it's for me, it's really important. It's not about sales. It's about problem solving. And I love to do that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think the idea of seeing or putting yourself in the other person's shoes is a way of caring. And I think it's a way of showing care, especially with our employees as well, too, is seeing things from their perspective. So it makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about this idea. So leading with care, the care culture, what does it mean to lead with care?
Well, to me, what it means is actually there's two important things to mention. One of them is we all, as leaders, need to be aware of the human cravings, of the psychology of human beings, and there's 6 things that are really important in that. And the first thing is, from nature, from tribal times, we all need a sense of, we need security. We need to feel secure. When tribes went to bed in the jungle to sleep, there was always a watchman just in case a lion comes over and eats you. So we need security. So that's first, human craving needs to be in place, and leaders need to be able to if they really care, they need to provide that. Second thing is, while we want that sense of security and like predictability, and we also want we want dynamism. So we want to do things. So we want variety and dynamism. So we need, as leaders, need to understand what sets people's heart on fire, and provide that, and just get them involved in different projects and get them exposed. And that's what I'm a great believer, and that's what we do with Leader Academy as the young people. They want to be successful, but to be successful at what? Yeah. You need to taste a lot of things. You need to like a buffet. You don't get you don't know what you're going to like if you've not tried the food there. You're just going to taste a lot of things. Then you're going to find out. So I think that is really important. The second, the third piece of the human craving is very important to be able to give that value and recognize people for. Here's one caveat: not to pamper them. And I found this mistake. Sometimes you provide too much care. It's not care. So care is to speak the truth and sincerely, obviously, and I'll talk about what real, what are the areas that we need to develop. But But the third one is value and recognition. Value and recognize people, and that, to your point, that you really deep leadership is really about respecting them and recognize. Everybody wants to be recognized for something they really did, not for something they didn't do. And the fourth piece is love and acceptance. We really accept people for who they really are. I mean, you've seen people in gangs. Why do people get accepted to those extreme organizations? And they're ready to put a stamp on there and mark on their skin. Why would they do that? Because they feel accepted. Because somebody cares about them. Somebody loves them for who they are and not tries to criticize and put them into prison or really put them on one side. That's why it's important as a community and leaders to recognize this and not just to corner off the one that is the rebels or the most difficult to deal with. Actually, the most difficult to deal with often could be the greatest performance. And the fifth area is growing. When we grow, we feel alive. Growth, and someone even said something interesting. When you grow, growth equals to health. Growth, because when you grow, you naturally expand. You don't shrink. So I think it's really essential to grow, and leaders need to have that in mind. And the sixth point is going beyond ourselves. That is when we start giving. When you start giving. So when you grow, you feel alive. When you start giving, you feel 10 times more alive. So it's like really, and this is one of the philosophy and vision that I would love to help more people to go beyond themselves and start be givers, not takers. If we provide and give to 90% of our time and our lives, and that's a life worth living for. And this is what I'm deeply excited. So this is the first thing that I want to talk about, really. From leadership perspective, and to expand on this, and what does it mean to lead with care? Well, these are to lead with care. You got to understand the basics, and this is the 6 human cravings that I just described.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. As a leader, you're responsible for the mission and the people assigned to you. Regardless of the size of your team, employees are depending on you for their lives and careers. For the sake of your team and the people who entrust you with this role, you need to master the skills to become a great leader. Best-selling leadership author John Rennie is proud to introduce the Qualified Leadership book series. This new series teaches you how to become a people-centered leader. Great leaders know that employees who are respected, appreciated, and allowed to grow will go the extra mile. These books provide real-world leadership wisdom written from a hands-on perspective. If you want to be a more effective leader, this is the one book series you should read this year. This 3-book series contains the following best-selling leadership books: I Have the Watch, You Have the Watch, and All in the Same Boat for one low price of $39.99. Begin your journey to become a leader worth following. Go to johnsrennie.com and get your order in today.
This episode is brought to you by Ignite Management Services. Ignite is led by Mike Watson, who you might remember from episode 137. Mike and his team believe that everything starts with leadership, whether it's strategy execution or cultural transformation. It's the role of the leader to create the conditions for their people to succeed. The team at Ignite can help you develop critical habits to enhance your leadership capability and transform your business. Ignite Management is now offering the Resilient Leadership Assessment Tool. This is an online questionnaire designed to assess and guide leadership development, coaching, and team building. It provides leaders an opportunity to gain insights into their leadership strengths and development needs. After taking this assessment, you will receive a custom, detailed report that provides practical and actionable recommendations to enhance your effectiveness. I have taken this assessment myself and found it to be extremely valuable in helping me make changes to my leadership approach. Right now, Ignite is offering 15% off the price of this tool to the deep leadership audience. Go to ignitemanagement.ca and enter the code START15 at checkout to get started today. This episode is brought to you by Jeremy Clevenger at Liberty Strength. As a high-performing leader, you know that leadership isn't about telling people what to do, it's about leading by example. And for most people, the one area that they are lacking when it comes to leading by example is their health and fitness. By improving your health and fitness, every other area of your life improves. Your energy skyrockets, your sleep improves, your confidence increases, and more. But how can you get and stay fit as a busy leader? Well, you do what you've always done. You hire the best people for the job. Don't struggle on your own. Put Liberty Strength in your corner. Jeremy and his team will work with you to take your physique, mindset, nutritional habits, and more to the next level with his step-by-step, all-inclusive coaching program. I've worked with Liberty Strength for the past 2 years, and I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm still hitting strength personal records at 56 years old. If you want to step up your game, reach out to Jeremy at libertystrengthtx.com to find out more and get your initial consultation scheduled with him today.
For me, what does it mean to lead with care? There are 5 areas where each one of us as human beings, we need to master or let's say grow or develop in order for us to prosper or to really make a difference. And this starts with, and the order matters. Often we underestimate number one is spiritual prosperity. People often underestimate. There's a reason why we are in the Western world, we've got where we got. We need to look back. And for me personally, that is the Christian values. That is, I look up to the characters of leaders. To me, Jesus is the greatest carer of the world because I looked at his life. So whatever people believe, spiritual plays an important part to really spend that time and understand what are your roots, where are we coming from, why things work the way they work, why there's science, why often science can explain things that are supernatural. We're going to spend that time. Spirituality is very, very important. Number 2 is prosper is our mind, right? Mental health, we talk about progressing or developing our mind. How do we respond to certain situations? Get to know what our limits are. How to master our mind and prosper there. And number 3 is our physical and prosperity. So we need our body. Our body is imagine if you had one car for the rest of your life, and then I tell you that's it, John, you don't want to get another one. You probably take a good care of it. Well, hopefully you have many cars, but our body is the only one. So it's really important. These 3 are really fundamental and basic. So as leaders, we need to take care of ourselves first before we provide the conditions for others. And number 4 is financial prosperity. We need to really take care of our needs, but also a good man leaves wealth for their children's children. So I'm a great believer that we should, mastering wealth or mastering really financial prosperity, it shouldn't be a game until you die, until you're 70, 80, or I think we should be able to do that. So we then take away a big part of the security. And number 5 is our relationship. Relationship is wealth. So if for me, that's what it means. If I can provide a condition for people to where an environment where they have the 6 human cravings and they prosper in all those 5 areas of life, then it's not just one area. It's not just their physical health or not just their mental health. It's all the whole package. And I think that's what it means for your people. But all that needs to be connected to a much bigger purpose, which is really to be a blessing to humanity. So these are just like conditions that you need to create. But for me, every one of us, God has created us for a reason, and we need to find out what we're here for. And that's why spiritual is so important, because this revelation comes through spending time and understanding. For me personally, that's in prayer. So that hopefully that gives you a little bit of a long answer, but that to me is care. It's really a leadership perspective.
It's really interesting too, the way you pointed out. You talk about these 6 human cravings. One of the things that you didn't talk about was an espresso bar, a fancy dining in the employee cafeteria. You didn't talk about having ping pong tables and foosball and a lot of toys for the employees to play with. You talked about security, variety, recognition, feedback, value. You talked about acceptance. You talked about love. I love that. it's something that when I talk to really effective leaders, I talk to military leaders, I talk to Navy SEAL team commanders, and they talk about love and how it drives what they do as a team. And then growth and opportunities to growth, and then to give back, to go beyond yourself. These are human cravings. These are the things that make people feel like you care if you're doing the things that you talk about on the list. And so what's interesting about them is, I'm a small business owner myself, is I don't see a lot of money needed to be spent to do these things. It doesn't cost anything to work to satisfy these 6 human cravings. Is that the way I see it?
Absolutely. I'll give you one to back this up with the statistics. Recently, I've looked at, because I'm very interested. I don't remember the who did it was one of the big 4, I believe, but it was interesting because the average tenure at those tech companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft in Silicon Valley was less than 18 months sometimes, or less than 2 years. And if you look at it, all of them have this exceptional facilities. Like they had free food, they had ping pong tables, sleeping, a skyscraper, penthouses, you name it. Like they were on top of it, and they had it all. What I've not went deeper enough, I can't comment, but I wonder how many of those 6 human cravings they had versus that environment, that comfort that they had. So I think it is, for me, that excites me, that interests me. But I'm also a great believer that we need to take care of leaders and business owners, because often they do not know some of those things. It's a very lonely place. They may not have been told the truth. And to be honest, personally as a leader, I would always prefer to be told the truth than to be polite and just trying somebody to give me superlatives and words that actually not exactly they mean. So for me, that's really important. And we got to be able to speak openly to those business leaders and business owners and share with them what we really see, because it may be a difficult conversation, but believe me, they would appreciate it a lot more than if it's done with the right intention and deliver that message. So that's why leaders who care has a mission to inspire more leaders who may not be there yet, but want to, or really looking for, because I don't know many people who want to stay in the pain, or unless it's something much bigger and there's a greater purpose. But if you're in a painful situation and with no any success and there's no bigger purpose than just being in that pain, you may want to ask your question, well, how can I do better? I want to do that.
I love this. One of the things that, that might be helpful to senior managers and getting them on board with this idea of leading with care is the performance of the organization. So a lot of times I when I'm interacting with C-suite guys, is they're like, hey, I just want the bottom line. I want to make money. I want to grow my business, right? So can leading with care, will it affect performance? Leaders who lead with care, do they get better results? What has been your experience?
I'll give you some other statistics because I love numbers. If you look at B Corp organizations, which is B Corp certified, clearly there is a system there that to get certified. There's an element of that, and that they really, leaders care about a bigger purpose, making an impact, being a blessing to humanity. B Corp organizations' average growth year on year, recent statistics shows, is 26%. If you look at the average growth of large organizations or some others, it varies. It could be 5 to 10%. So yes, it does matter, and it matters massively. If somebody said to you, we'll do 2.5x to what your growth is, probably is a great incentive. But you will not work if you fake it or you pretend it. I know there's a fake it while you make it, but that works when you really want to make it, when you really want to change. You might say, yes, I will do that. I may not be there, but I'm really determined to do it because I believe in it and I want to be there. But from time to time, I still have my old ways, and unfortunately, It's not. I need more support. And when you're open with people and your own team, they'll give you that chance. But absolutely, care not only works, but and not only will help you fulfill your goal and vision to make money, to achieve whatever growth through 20, 30, 50%, 100%, whatever growth you need, but actually you're going to enjoy the journey. Try it. Like when you do that, and here's the thing, you can't just ask somebody, how are you? But you don't have time to listen. Don't ask them. Ask them when you can. When you go for a coffee and you see the cleaners, don't just ignore them and just look down on them. We're human beings. You're not greater than them. In God's eyes, at least. So we all have that. We have the same blood. It's red blood. It's not different colors. Maybe different skin colors. But if you look at our organs, if you look as human beings, we are no greater than anyone else. We might accomplish more in certain areas than others, but that doesn't make you more superior.
Yeah.
In that aspect. So I think it's really important to take that into account.
Interesting. What have been like, you've got your Leading with Care podcast, and you've got a network there that you're creating with the Leader Academy. How are traditional business leaders responding to this message of leading with care? When you go right back to it, these human cravings, this idea of taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others, they seem really basic, but they're not something that's taught in business school, right? So you're taught accounting and operations and sometimes ethics and all, but you never really learn the idea of humans and what they need. So how are other business leaders, C-suite people that you're talking with, how are they responding to the message? Are they skeptical? Or are they, dipping their toe in it and then saying, "Oh, wow, it really works"? What's kind of the response been to this message?
The best way is not the message; it's just the way you live your life and the way you interact with them. When they see it in you, it's actually contagious. It makes them feel good. It make you deliver results. They relate to that. And often business leaders, they do deploy when they want to. They deploy best practices very quickly. So I can tell you, it's lead by example, and that's why we want to share those stories. Like it's not just a made up story. This is actually people who have made it. And what the message is, it's not important how successful you are. That matters, of course, but it's equally important how you got there. And you don't want to be in the Mount Everest and be lonely, and that's very often happening. But bring the people with you. Have a barbecue there. Have share that success and be a blessing to others. That's a life worth living for.
I love that. You don't want to be on the peak of the summit alone, and many leaders do that. It's all about me. I'm going to take care of me, and they burn every bridge. They create problems in their wake, and they get to the top and they're alone, right?
And that's what I'm trying to help more people, more leaders, not to be alone, but actually to make a difference. So we have a great, really, a mission to take care of those leaders who may be lonely, who want to change, because you know what? Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are depending on people like that. Imagine if we take care of them and they could become better, leaders who care because they want to. You know what's going to happen? Hundreds of thousands of people will rejoice. And when you multiply that, if there's a CEO of 100,000 people company and that employs in the average size of family of 4, that's 400,000 people directly impacted by that. Yeah. That is what. So what about when you have business owners that own many of those? What happens? You impact millions and millions. That's why we want to help more people thrive at work, and leadership is key to that. And that's what the premise of Dynamis is, to help people thrive, not survive at work. And we want to do that through more leaders who care beyond their self-interest in their career. But of course, we need to make sure we take care of them and encourage everyone else in the team to take care of the leaders who care.
I love that. What final message would you like to leave with our listeners?
I would love to leave a message of start taking care of everything around you. Start with you first, and don't underestimate. Really, go back to your roots. Look at where you are, even if you're in a difficult moment in sport. That's often the greatest moment for you to reflect. But take care to the people to the left of you, to the right of you, and please take care of your family. A lot of leaders, a lot of people often don't have time for that. You know what's not fair? That you go out and you're the best and you take care of all those people. And even sometimes being in a situation like this, that I take care of so many, but I don't have time for my family. And sometimes I get tired or sometimes really upset with something. Guess what? They actually, they see the worst of you. So my message to your audience is, yes, take care of you, but you know what? Take care of your family. They see the worst of you, but they deserve the best of you. So that's what I would say. And please, family is where it's really, really the sacred ground. Please do take care of that. Don't just give up easily on people. Find a way to work things together, grow together, find that vision, and you create a great impact to the world, because your children will see they're good copiers, not good listeners. So I want to see more families that stand strong in the midst of the storm and make a difference to the others.
What a powerful message. And the other thing too, it goes back to, you make it to the top or whatever. If your family's not there, if you've ruined your family, you've ruined all your relationships just to make it to the top, who are you going to enjoy it with? How are you going to really enjoy that? This your family is your rock and your foundation. So that's such an important message that we don't neglect. Because really, in a lot of cases, as a leader, especially as an entrepreneur, that's your support network. Those are the people that have got your back when things don't go well, and if you're not taking care of that, then you're not going to be as strong as you could be with your family around you. So such an important message.
These are your destiny helpers. If you have one of such destiny helpers that will be with you no matter what happened, even if you get arrested, they will not leave you. You are lucky. If you have more than one, if you have 10 of those, you're the luckiest person of your generation. That's a good KPI for leadership.
I love that. Did you hear that, listeners? That's a good KPI. I like that. Do you have 10 that'll be there with you when if something really bad happens? Love that. Marian, how can people find out more about you, your company, your podcast, and all the resources you have available for leaders?
Thank you for that question. If leaders do want an advice or help with their vision, turn their vision into an effective talent strategy, please reach out. They can contact me on LinkedIn or Dynamis. www.dynamisgroup.com is our website, or on LinkedIn, they can reach out. For the podcast, please follow us on LinkedIn. The Leaders Who Care is our platform. But I also want to encourage you, there's another great partner that we work in the US called Leaders Who Care. I will also encourage you to follow them because they're great and fantastic. So that's the best way to reach out on LinkedIn or via the website.
Very good. And we're going to put links in the show notes for all those resources. And your humble host here, I was a guest on Marian's podcast, Leaders Who Care. I hope to think that I am a leader who cares. And I really enjoyed being on his podcast. So I highly encourage you to click on that link below in the show notes and subscribe, follow Marian's podcast. You're going to learn more about how to become a leader who cares. You're going to listen to all sorts of experienced leaders who have taken that shift and made the shift to become a leader who cares, and the results that they've been able to achieve with that. So again, click on that link below and follow that resource. Also connect with Marian on LinkedIn, and he can help you, again, maybe get your vision straight, get your focus straight. What do you really want to do with your company? What do you really want to do with your team? he can help you in that area. So follow him, link up with him on LinkedIn, and he can help you as well. Marian, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You've shared a lot with us and given us a lot to think about. You've talked about these 6 human cravings, how to become a leader who cares with these 5 elements. I think these are things that we all can use to help us become better leaders. So thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for sharing your perspective.
John, thank you so much. Blessing to you and your team and your work and your audience. Sincerely grateful for being here today, and have a wonderful rest of the week.
You too. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share so we can continue to build a world with better bosses. Until next time, this is John Rennie saying take care and lead well.
Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, please visit our website at www.deepleadershippodcast.com or johnsrennie.com. Until next time, take care.
Hey there, fabulous souls. I'm Stephanie Baclaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Unapologetically Fab.
Get ready to join us on an amazing and real journey as we dive into life after 40 and own it.
We're all about changing the narrative, leaning into who you are, and living a life by your own design.
Join us as we embrace life unapologetically and redefine success.
This is Unapologetically Fab,
an Electric Cat production.
See you there.
Electricast.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wannabet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wannabet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.